All right. So I think we're gonna get started now. My name is Pat. Survival to Fitness is a little side project that I have going. It's a passion project where I like to share my love for the outdoors with other people. I'm holding some in-person trips, some online Zooms, and things like that, covering all kinds of different topics, everything from geocaching to kayaking to backpacking. Tonight's topic happens to be Backcountry Coffee 101. So we're going to talk about some different options and brewing methods for brewing backcountry coffee. And we're going to talk about the pros and cons for each of the different methods. I'm going to show you a couple of the different brands that I like and some of their advantages, and then we'll answer some questions. And like I said, we're going to talk about some considerations. I'm going to go through some brewing options, and then we'll answer any questions. So the first thing we're going to talk about are just some key considerations. Thinking about these considerations will help you pick um, what kind of brewing option and coffee you're going to select. Uh, the four main considerations that you'll want to think about when you're picking a kind of coffee to take with you. One is going to be price. You'll see here that depending on what brand and method you're using, the coffee can run anywhere between $1 and $4 per serving. So if you're like me, a guy that drinks, 4+ cups of coffee on a good day, it can add up. So something to definitely consider. Also, the weight in your pack. If you're doing like a very long through hike, you're really going to want to be probably conscious of the weight of the coffee, but also the gear that's required to brew it. So your stove, your fuel, pot, and so forth. The third thing is going to be the time to brew. So sometimes, you're going to be getting up to do a summit day, and you might be getting up very late in the night or early in the morning, and you don't want to go through the trouble of steeping, brewing, things like that. So that's where some of the quicker options like instant might play a good part. And then taste. I'm the kind of guy that can drink a day old cup of cold coffee that's been sitting in the coffee pot for a full day and don't think twice about it. But it's a nice way to start the day when you have a good cup of coffee, especially after possibly a cold night sleeping in your tent. So those are the four main considerations that we're going to think about, talk about in this presentation. So instant coffee, I'm sure everybody here has had instant coffee, and you probably have found that it's not always the most tasty coffee. It'll get the job done, but it's not always going to be your most tasty option. Pretty straightforward to brew instant coffee. It's just a matter of boiling water, adding the coffee, mix, and drink. So it's a very quick process once you get the water heated up. Pros to instant coffee are going to be the cost, weight. It's very light. Availability, you can order on Amazon, you could go to Wegmans, you could go to basically any dollar store and get some, not always the best coffee, but you can definitely get some form of instant coffee. There's also very little waste for instant coffee. Most of the products that we're going to talk about tonight, for instance, come in individual packets. So you are going to have to pack out those little packets once you're poured the coffee out, but it really, in the grand scheme of things, it's something that could be rolled up and fit into like a small pocket in your pack and wouldn't be much of an issue. Cons could be the taste, depending on what what brand of coffee that you get. A couple of brands that I am a big fan of are listed here. One's going to be Starbucks Via. This is widely available. It's about 0.35 ounce per serving. It comes, like I mentioned, in these little individual serving sizes. It's widely available. You can get it at Wegmans or you can get it online. Moving on, Joe Bean. Joe Bean is a coffee roaster here in Rochester. It's a little bit pricier per serving, but I feel that the trade-off is definitely worth it. It has a nice flavor. It's similar or exactly the same in weight. This is going to be something that you're going to be purchasing from Joe Bean, their store. A couple other options: CS Instant Coffee, Alpine Start. You can see the cost per serving varies widely from 3.25 to around $1. So again, I recommend picking up a pack of these and trying them at home. If you like them, definitely take them out there. Definitely my top two, I would have to say, are going to be Joe Bean and Starbucks Via. But again, there are a lot out there, and these are not all of them. The next brewing method we're going to talk about is the French press. I'm sure most of you have had French press coffee, or at least seen a French press. And basically what you're doing there is boiling water. You're pouring it over the grounds inside of the French press. You're going to let it steep with the grounds for about 4 minutes, and then you're going to press the top down, which is going to strain out the grounds and let you pour out the coffee. Some of the pros here are going to be taste. So instead of brewing it through like a normal paper filter, like you would, like in a drip coffee maker, um, using the press is going to leave more of the oils in the coffee, which is going to make the taste better. Another nice pro to this is you can select any coffee that you'd like. Normally you'll want to use a coarser ground. So if you're picking a bag off the shelf at Wegmans, just make sure you pick a coarser ground for that. And there is very little waste. I mean, you're going to be carrying the coffee grounds, and we'll talk about that. Even the spent coffee grounds, you're going to be carrying them. But as far as actual waste, you're not going to have filters. You're not going to have anything else like that. A couple of the cons is you are going to have the weight of the French press. So there's going to be a little extra weight in your pack. That's a consideration. And then the initial price, you actually have to purchase the French press, whereas like in the instant coffee, there's nothing to buy other than a pot to heat your water. So I don't know if anybody here has any titanium camping, like pots, pans, things like that. They're very expensive. This is an example of a titanium French press made by Snow Peak. It's very light. It's 6.3 ounces, but there is a trade-off. It's $55. So this is a big upfront cost here, but titanium is very durable. So if you take good care of this, it may last your whole career out there. Moving to something a little bit less expensive is going to be Jetboil. With Jetboil is a brand. They make stove systems. So they're integrated systems, including the stove, the pot, and the lid. There's an add-on that's compatible with Jetboil stoves that allows you to French press your coffee. So if you already have the Jetboil system, this is a $20 option to be able to use it as a French press. And another option would be a Stanley French press. Again, this is a pricier option. It includes a vacuum insulated, so it's very similar to like a thermos. So if you were to make your coffee in the morning, keep it in this, we'll call it a mug. It would stay hot, throughout the day. And according to their website, it would keep it for up to 2 days. So you may have to spend a little more time making the coffee, but then you'll be able to keep it warm for several hours. So that's another option. A little pricey at $65, but again, quality gear lasts a long time, so it could be a good investment. Percolators. I'm sure a lot of people have seen percolators. This isn't necessarily something you're going to be carrying when you're backpacking the Appalachian Trail, but if you're car camping or doing just a short hike, a percolator is not a bad option. To brew using a percolator, you're going to boil water, percolate for 5 to 10 minutes, and then you're going to pour it. So pros, again, you can brew any coffee, pick your favorite coffee that you like from home, and you can take that out there with you. And there's very little waste. You're not using filters or anything like that. Cons: weight in your pack, initial price. It's a little bit bulky, so if you're trying to go ultra light, this is probably not going to be your best option. And there are two different types of percolators. I'm not going to go too much into detail, but they use different methods that are outlined here. We're gonna cover one from each, I guess, type of percolator in the next couple of slides here. This is the Bioletti Express Mocha Pot. This is the gold standard. It's been in use for over 100 years, if you can believe that. They sell many varieties, anywhere from 1 cup to 12 cup options. They range in weight from 12 ounces to 2.8 pounds, depending on the size. And so just to give you an idea, it's about 25 bucks for the 6 cup size option, which is, in the grand scheme of things, really not too bad. Another more traditional look percolator is going to be the GSI percolator. It's durable. It has 6 to 12 cup sizes. It's 1 to 2 pounds depending on the size, and it's about $30. So again, kind of mid-range in the grand scheme of backpacking gear. So one of my favorite options, and something that I recommend, has a lot of pros, is called the AeroPress. You're able to brew your coffee in 30 seconds once you have boiling water. So basically, to brew with an AeroPress, you're going to insert a filter, you're going to add coffee, you're going to pour the boiling water over it, you're going to press, and then you're going to wait 30 seconds. The reason that this is able to brew so quickly is it uses pressure to brew the coffee. Pros, super lightweight, easy cleanup. Cons can be the initial price, although as you'll see in this slide here, it's really not that bad. But this is a good picture. It shows you kind of what it looks like here. Pretty durable. It collapses fairly small. You can throw it in your pack. It's durable. Pretty good option. So you're going to get 1 to 3 cups per press. It's going to avoid bitterness and high acidity created by those long steep times for a French press. Weighs in around 13 ounces, so it's under a pound, and it's $30, but you do have filters that you will need to replace. Does anybody have any questions so far? Okay. So I'm going to take this opportunity to give away some of the donations that I got from 2 local coffee shops here in Rochester. And the first item that I'd like to give away is a pack. I believe it's a 6-serving pack of Joe Bean instant coffee. So the question is, and people feel free to just chime in, the first person to get closest to the answer I'm looking for will win. So the question is, what percentage of American adults start their day with a cup of coffee?
75%.
It's a good guess. Anybody
80.
else?
80%.
Who said 80?
Rachel.
Rachel, you got it. It is exactly 80%.
Woohoo!
Nice job. Did you Google it? If you did, that was
I
super
didn't.
quick. Well, good guess. And I'm one of that 80%. So
I am as well.
After the event, just shoot me your address and I'll mail that out to you. Okay.
Perfect. Thank you.
Sure. Moving on, we're going to talk about pour over. Pour over is a great way to brew coffee, but if you've ever waited for a cup of pour over coffee to, if you want to call it brew or drip, it's going to take a while. So this is going to be one of your slower options. Again, you're going to be boiling water, pouring it over, and it'll drip into your container. I'm the kind of guy that I will let it drip like a third of the cup or a quarter of the cup and drink that, then sneak it back under, snag a cup. But this is going to take a few minutes to drip through. Again, like a lot of the other options besides instant, is you can use basically any coffee that you like. The prices here are very, very cheap. They start around 10 bucks and go up from there. Weight, also very lightweight, durable, throw it anywhere in your pack. You could even clip it to the outside of your pack, no big deal. Cons, like I mentioned, takes a while and it's not good if you're making, groups of 12. If you need to make 12 cups of coffee, you're going to be there. You're going to want to get up pretty early to get that going. Options here are the GSI Outdoors Ultralight Java Drip Coffee Maker. So as you can see in the picture, it's something that will stand up in basically any mug that you have. You're going to pour the hot water in the top, and it's going to drip through into your cup. Super lightweight at 0.4 ounces, costs $11. Throw it in your pack. You could throw it in your first aid kit, wherever you want. It's not going to take up much space or weight. So that's a good option. Another option here is Sea to Summit X Brew Coffee Dripper. So it's going to make up about 2 cups of coffee. It's made out of silicone. There's no need for paper filters. It uses a stainless steel double mesh filter. That's a nice feature. It's collapsible. It's collapsible silicone, so you can collapse it, throw it in your pack. It's very small. Weighs in at 4 ounces, and again, it's $11, so it's not a big investment. Something a little bit newer. I have the wrong name here, but this is actually Kuju Coffee. This is a newer product. It comes in individual packets like this, and they have these wings that will fold out and hold the coffee over your mug. So it's basically self-contained. Everything you need besides the water and the mug to make a cup of coffee is included in that packet. Little bit more pricey at $2.50 a serving. So if you're having a bunch of coffee in the morning, you may want to go with a different option. Another consideration for this one is you are going to have some trash that you're going to need to pack out. You're going to need to pack out the filter, the contraption that holds it on your coffee, and also the wrapper. So there's going to be a little bit more carry out for you. And just a couple other options that you might want to look at. Coffee bags, so think tea bags, but filled with coffee. You can throw them in your cup, let them steep for 5 to 10 minutes or longer, depending on the strength that you want. There's numerous brands out there, different roasts available, $1 to $3 a serving, individually wrapped. There's going to be some waste you're going to need to carry out. These Jiva coffee cubes, it is instant coffee, but in a brick form. So you pop 1 or 2 of those out, throw them into a pot of, or a mug of water, and it's going to dissolve in 45 seconds. Super lightweight at 0.4 ounces per serving. Another option, cowboy coffee. It's an option. I'm not going to say that it's the best option, but that's just boiling water, throwing the coffee grounds in, and then dumping the coffee into a cup and drinking it with the grounds in there. I have done that. It's definitely not my preferred method, but just wanted to throw that out there. Something that we should talk about is, I'm sure most of you are familiar with leave no trace. We want to leave the outdoors in at least the same condition that we found it, but nowadays we're actually trying to leave it better than we found it. So anytime you do something outdoors, we want to leave it, nicer, better. People don't want to see, your coffee grounds thrown. They don't want to see, trash left around. So anytime you're brewing coffee, you're going to want to pack out those grounds, pack out those spent grounds. You might think that digging a hole and leaving them in, they'd compost into, the soil, but really leave no trace. Principles say that you want to take those grounds out with you. And then when you get home, you can throw them away or compost them, whatever you'd like. So that concludes most of the information that I have here. I did want to just talk about a few upcoming events that I have. The first one is going to be a full moon snowshoe and hike at Ellison Park. That is February 26th at 7 p.m. We're going to meet up and do a 2 to 3 mile hike. Hopefully it'll be clear and we'll get to see the moon that night. So that's on the 26th. And then we have on March 1st, a Couch to Summit info session. We're going to talk about an upcoming program, an upcoming 10-week program that will give you all of the technical skills and physical training that you'll need to climb your first mountain. Now, you won't be climbing, Mount Rainier after this 10-week session, but you would be able to climb one of the peaks in the Adirondacks or similar after this class. And then on March 20th, we have a hike at Durand Eastman Park here in Rochester, followed by, depending on what the COVID conditions look like, we may pop over to Irondequoit Beer Company. If the conditions are still as they are now, I will probably pick up a few beers from there and we'll sample them after. That will be a bring your own cup type event. And now I'm going to stop. Does anybody have any questions or anything they want to add or anything like that? Wow, I covered it all. Good job to me. So now I would like to give away another, another pack of coffee. This one is going to be from Fuego Coffee Roasters here in Rochester. This is a pound of coffee. It's whole bean coffee, so you'll need to grind it yourself. But the question is, how many beans go into 1 pound of roasted coffee?
5,000.
What was that?
5,000.
Anybody else? You may win by default. Somebody
There we go.
take a guess.
8,000.
I hear it 8,000. Do I hear 10,000?
10,000.
No. All right. Anybody else going to guess? Shout them out.
2,000.
Anybody else?
2,000.
2,000. Good guess. The answer is 4,000. So I couldn't tell the voice, but who said 5,000?
Mike.
Mike, you're a winner.
All right.
So you'll get a pound of bean coffee from Fuego here in Rochester. After the class, just shoot me your shipping address and I'll send that out to you. Cool. Well, did anybody have any questions that popped up while I was giving away that coffee? All right. Well, I wanted to say thank you guys for coming out this evening. Hopefully you learned something about coffee, and definitely stay tuned to sotfitness.com for more updates. Hang on 1 second. I see a chat. Okay. Just thanks. I think we're all set here. Thank you guys very much. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Good night.